Hello YouTubers and Manners, and today we are doing a new series called Remake versus Remake. Here I'm going to be comparing maps to their counterparts in their remakes, and we're going to be giving them points. Positive points and negative points. Numa introduced dogs and rotating perks, but that's about it, and the window off. Alright, let's go. Numa is a Japanese swamp with Japanese soldiers attacking you as zombies. And it contains, here's a map of it. It contains 5 huts, 4 swamps. People who played it, camping in the huts as a team, or just running around in the swamp areas. Alright, let's begin. Black Ops 1. This is the first remake that comes from Numa. Everything is the same, except it has extremely better lighting. Like, it has really nice lighting, I feel. And that is a big positive. There's some spots where they glow green and yellow, and they just glow so nicely in this map, and they look, the models themselves also look really nice and like colorful for like in a weird way. It's like so much color. However, one negative about the freaking models is that they just use faces from Kino, which is kind of lazy as heck, and you can tell that it's wrong because you can see their forehead popping through the hats, which is just so distracting when you, like, if you start to pay attention to the models themselves. That's kind of distracting to look at, especially in the lower waves. However, they did keep the war weapons, and they did mix it up by having like the Black Ops 1 guns on World of War map, which is nice. Like, back in the day I used to complain about that, but now they would go back to it. It's like, it's a nice thing because you get to play with different stuff. Like, you have a reason to play it differently. Or it's like having control of what kind of guns you want, just have the 2 games. However, the only negative I can see, I don't see any negatives other than the freaking heads. Because this would have been one of my favorite remakes if they had the original Japanese faces. Not only that, they added a couple Easter eggs explaining, like, I think this is the map that introduced the Kino teleporter radio on how they got to Kino. So that was a nice touch, adding an Easter egg that actually introduced some lore. Next is COD Online. COD Online is a reimagining, so it's not quite Numa, but it's still Numa. In this one, it's a Cyber Zombie iteration. One thing I'm going to complain about right off the bat is that the zombies don't get unique models for this one. This is the map that changed up the zombies for the first time from being Nazis to Japanese soldiers. It would have been nice to see like cyber zombies in a different light. New models like swamp zombies robots, swamp robots, something like that. However, the map itself is really nice. They got like very nice renditions. The lighting is very nice. This is a very beautiful rendition of Numa, in my opinion. One of the most beautiful. Because if you look, this one has my favorite water because it looks so clean and pretty, and this is the only time you see sun in Numa. Plus, you get a power switch to turn on, so you have to go somewhere in the very beginning, and then you get Pack-a-Punch. This is the only time they let you Pack-a-Punch. Whoa, calm down. You don't want Pack-a-Punch, Dump? Don't be mean. Jeez. And it's nice to see like a new version of 115, which is just looks like a rock. It's kind of silly. One negative is that those perks no longer randomized. But, fun fact about that is that they're in the default positions that where they would be if you didn't open up the door. As in, that's like quick revive is in the doctors, and that's how it's like it would have been if you never opened up anything. Now to Black Ops 3, my least favorite rendition. One thing to say, the map itself is really pretty. It's very nice to look at. There's some visuals are really nice too. You're right, it's all terrible, isn't it? It's all terrible. Okay. But yeah, the map itself is really nice. But the zombies, they don't get unique Japanese models yet again. Like, they all look like Nazi Americans yet again. I guess Japanese people aren't good enough to be Japanese soldiers, okay. Not only that, but like the atmosphere to the map feels like Zetsubo no Shima. It's like Numa saw its younger sibling, see how it's popular at school, and then decided they wanted to be like it. But Chino, you don't need to be like that. You're good as you are with all your maggots. Ah, speaking of maggots, they actually removed wildlife from BO3. I know, outrageous, right? It's terrible. How can anyone do that? I know. But yeah, the something that is literally in the description of the map maggot-ridden corpses is removed from the map. BO1 kept the maggots and the dragonflies, and all the freaking that BO3 has is regular flies, and they disappear, which takes you out of the environment. Because if you pay attention to like the bugs and stuff, if you want to look at the insects, just because you're having a little pause and stuff to look at the environment, they disappear. That doesn't make you feel like it's realistic. And then there were birds in the sky. Caught Online kept the birds. Caught Online kept the birds, and they took it out of BO3. Okay, this is a no-fly zone, I guess. It's fuck birds. They were all hunted. However, I will give them a positive, where I do like the Japanese captain. I wouldn't have minded if they added that to the original remakes. It is nice to see like that specific model. However, it is kind of lazy that it's just the Setsuko no Shima models reskinned a little bit cleaner, with less swamp plant muck. However, the models again, not only is it just Setsuko no Shima, but like there's less gore too. In Black Ops 1 and World at War, you could rip apart their stomach, and it's like that's the most you could rip apart zombies. Like they lost their whole arm, and their entire like intestines were coming out. And then again in BO3, they took out the Japanese animations. It's like that's something that made the map feel special. This is the only time where they double swipe you with in terms of an animation. And they took that out. They karate chop you. They walk in karate stances. They have that in Black Ops 1 and World at War, as it should be, but they took it out entirely for freaking Numa. And that was like my favorite reason to play the map. It's like this Japanese aesthetic, so that's a big negative for me. But let me restate something though. In BO1, it's nice that they added the BO1 guns, because later now, I actually do enjoy playing with the BO1 guns, even though I didn't like it back in the day. Because it's like, it's a different way to play the map. While in Rio 3, it's a mix-up. However, I don't like how they didn't even bother adding a pack-a-punch. COD Online added a pack-a-punch. Why couldn't they? Why do you get mad at me every time I say pack-a-punch? For the map that introduced dogs, it had two types of dogs. One looked like a beat-up, bitten hellhound, and the other one just looked like a regular big old wolf that just has like a few blood spots. Now in Black Ops 1, they reduced the amount of dog variety. So there's only like the beat up dog that's violently cut up. And then in BO3, since this is what baffles me, they have the dire wolves in the campaign. Yet for the map that they introduced the dogs themselves, they couldn't add the dire wolf with yellow eyes to add that full mimicry of like the original World at War, where there was like two dog models attacking us. Yeah, I think that's a negative in my point. Another thing about BO3. They changed the freaking water sounds, like original maps, World of War and BO1. They kept this in BO1, where they burst out of the water. It's like it could get you because it's so loud, like a loud burst, and you just running. You get cut off by them, it gets you panicked. While in Numa remastered BO3, or if not, it's not really a remaster, to be honest. But it's not, at least not in my opinion. But anyways. It's just like so silent that you don't even hear them coming out. It loses that intensity that comes from being in the swamp. And then the new Easter egg that they added, the first Easter egg, the first time they added an Easter egg in the BO1 remake, they added lore. Here they only added the freaking Monty radio, who I don't care about. He's just restating old things. That doesn't add any lore. However, even with the max ammo, we got freaking Gorod Krovi music. Why? Why do we need Gorod Krovi music in a swamp for Japanese? That's a Russian-styled song. I was expecting something in Japanese at least. Only like Moon got something. And not only, or like the one remix would have been cool too. But the final portrait is entirely my opinion. But for me, my personal favorite was the original, because that's the most Japanese map. Yeah, none of the remakes have brought back something that it was in the original. And that's the Wonder Waff used to zap the water, so it affected the environment and shocked everything, which made like the Wonder Waff feels the most powerful on Numa itself, because it just affects the environment too. And that's something that was never brought back, so that's a negative for me. And something that I found was really odd for the BO3 remake is that they have these these bubbles of water where it looks like, I think they're supposed to be like someone's breathing underneath them or something. It just comes off as distracting and random because nothing really spawns underneath them. It's just there. It's not even like to signify that's where a zombie's coming from. It's just there infinitely. Also forgot to mention that this is where our main 4 characters are introduced, but since they're kept the same throughout each remake, except for, of course, Colin Line, which is a reimagining for a different country, that one doesn't really count. But yeah, it's just since they're all kept the same, I didn't even bother talking about them. Well, anyways, that's my reviews of the remakes, etc. Please tell me your opinion below. I would love to hear which Numa is your favorite, or what map you want me to cover next. I would try my best to do it. Anyways, this has been my remake versus remake, and I will leave the tallies at the very end as an outro. Goodbye.